Madro John Madden from the Moctezuma Colonia, up on a hill, beautiful neighborhood up on a hill at one edge of Jalapa, Mexico. Somebody told me it's not actually within the city limits. I think that may be true. I've explored very little of Jalapa in my 2.5 weeks here because I have big car problems, and I mostly have been leaving my car parked and taking buses and taxis, primarily from this lovely neighborhood down to the Las Trancas business section, where there's a really nice Coppel store that I use. You probably can't see me well enough. That I use for uploading my videos. I'm a writer and videographer. And it's a lovely store and very hospitable, and I do, because I've chosen not to make my car repairs this month, it looks like my funds are going to make it to the end of the month, and I've been able to make a few purchases there to actually be a customer. And actually one of the salespeople, cashiers, has taken me under her wing. She wants to get me a Coppel card, maybe not with a line of credit, because I warned her, no, if you try to open up my credit, it's going to explode like Pandora's box. I've chosen not to play that system. I'm just not going to play that system. Points, schmites. I'll pay cash. But so she said, well, it'll make it easier for you to make purchases. You'll have a nice record of all your purchases, and it will establish me as a member of the family there, which is great, which I kind of am. But the barrio, my point was to talk about the barrio here. In 2.5 weeks here, I have mostly stayed over my right shoulder, back behind the van. The barrio extends one long block here out to Francisco Villa Calle. The main road threads its way through the neighborhood here. And on the other side of Francisco Villa is Quetzalcoatl, and my GPS, my identification from taking pictures today, said that this is still called Quetzalcoatl here, Coatl. Indigenous. We were up in the mountains, and there are indigenous villages up here that I'm really looking forward to exploring. That's solidly middle class over there. They obviously have very nice apartments. These folks have the basic square concrete block, cement cinder block construction, which I've been in some homes that people made homey. It's not easy. It's not a warm wood or anything like that. You can make it homey, but folks who are in survival, trying to get food on the table, trying to make sure the windows or roof don't leak, or in some cases, this is the thing I've seen lots of places in Mexico, but the guy's right across the street, straight across from me. I'm not gonna provide the video. It's kind of a classic thing in Mexico, a bed sheet for a front door. Now, how many white middle-class people in the U.S. would be willing to tolerate that level of exposure to the environment, that level of vulnerability? There is a tight-knit feeling in the barrio here. People all know each other, and they have been less welcoming of me than the middle-class neighborhood across the way, even though somebody called the cops the other night. But when I go out of my way over there to introduce myself to people, they recognize me as being sociologically class similar. And I've had great Spanish language conversations with a couple of guys. But not enough people, because somebody called the cops the other night and we had a whole thing with that. And I've chosen, because of that, to try not to stay over there at night. So I like it over here. It's a dead end. It's quiet. And right there, there's a left turn right up here at the end of this wall. This is right behind me is the primary school. This is the daycare, and just at the end of those tan bricks, there's a path that dives down into a beautiful park. Not a big park. It's what they call a natural space. Basically a place where nobody wanted to bother trying to build. It's so steep, but it's very beautiful. And I made a comment in another short video that When I spent the summer of 21 in Louisville, Kentucky, my son's town and Breonna Taylor's town, Cherokee Park is the jewel of the park system there. Frederick Law Olmsted, the great landscape designer, designed the parks of Louisville, and Cherokee is the premier. And there is a special path that they call the Audubon Path and claim it's for birding, but there's no more birds there than anyplace else. It's actually the private entrance for the wealthy neighborhood at that end of the park. And what I see again and again is that when the park borders on a poor neighborhood, there will be fencing and gates and stuff to control the flow. But there they welcomed it. Oh, and I'll share one of my most fun stories. God, I want you to be able to see me, but okay, I'll just do it this way. My little Pancho was my first dog for the first year and a half. Little chubby Chihuahua, extraordinarily well behaved, very friendly and loving. If she ran up to you barking, people who knew dogs would know this is not an aggressive bark, it was a welcome bark. And it really meant, hi, who are you? Would you pet me, please? That's what she was like. So there was no need for her to be on a leash. But there are people in the U.S. who believe that every dog should always be on a leash, especially in a ritzy neighborhood. So I'm walking her through the neighborhood on a very hot day and trying to get back to my big camper van embedded away in the park. And this woman stops her big SUV and says, that dog needs to be on a leash. And I did not indulge in my usual kind of back and forth about fuck you, basically, but more clever than that. No, what I did, I said, ma'am, please step out of your car. I need to commandeer your car. I need to be someplace. And she sure didn't know how to respond to that. And I said, no, really, you have to step out of the car. I need the car. And then I started walking when she obviously got on the phone to the cops. But that was a lot of fun. Okay. All right, there's that. Bye.